Hello, OA friends. Welcome to Inside OA. My name is Meg, and I'm an abstinent compulsive overeater and food and sugar addict. Today, I'm meeting with Emilia. Emilia is our Region 9 trustee liaison, which means she is our mentor for our OA fellows of Europe, the Middle East, Western Asia, Russia, and Africa. She also leads the planning of our annual World Service Business Conference that we have in April and May. She leads workshops, works with her region board officers, takes phone calls, answers emails, and empowers others to share the message of OA. Today, Emilia will be talking about how our translations process works and the licensing procedure to follow when it comes to OA literature. I am so excited to have you back, Emilia. Let's take it
Oh,
away.
I'm so excited too. And I feel to be a part of very incredible, amazing fellowship. Can't you believe it that we didn't know each other before I joined OE and the board of trustee? I believe it's amazing.
Yeah, you are so right.
Yeah.
So, translations is so important. And because the growth of OA is really the highest in your region. We have what, over 44 languages, 40 to 50 countries. There's a lot of people and a need to understand and know what OA is about so that they can be relieved of this food addiction. When talking about translating literature, what should a service center do before it even considers doing that?
Okay, when a service body, that could be a national service board or an intergroup, wants to start translating literature, there are two questions that they should ask themselves. Is the literature already translated? This is the first question. Is this piece of literature due for a major revision soon? Okay, to the first question, if yes, is already translated, they could ask for an ad hoc license to from the World Service Office staff. If it's due for a major revision soon, it's better to consider another literature option. This is the most important because otherwise there will be a duplication of efforts if it's the piece of literature is translated, and the efforts they spent in translating the literature that is due for major revisions soon, they will just use their energies, money, and efforts just to have another book to be reviewed soon. Hope it's clear.
No, thank you. That's really important. Just those two key things makes a huge difference. So, what literature requires the licensing process?
Okay, the licensing process is very peculiar to OA because an agreement between Overeaters Anonymous and the service body. The literature that requires a licensing processes is everything that is posted on the OA bookstore. So everything that is on sale. So if I'm going to the OA bookstore and I found this piece of literature, for example, the 12 and 12, this piece of literature should require the licensing process. Instead, all the material that doesn't require the licensing process is everything posted and downloadable on oa.org. It's very simple, the difference.
Thank you. So, then, like we have the medallions for the newcomer and 6 month and 30 days and all of that, does that require a licensing process?
Yes, they require a licensing
That's
process.
interesting.
Yes, because you can buy them, you can purchase them on the OA bookstore.
Okay.
So they can translate what is written on the medallions and then can have their coins also in their own language. So they require a licensing process.
That's cool. That is so cool. And then that's something you can just carry in your pocket, your wallet, your
Yes,
purse.
yes. For example, I received a medallion from OA Spain this year because I was supposed to be there, but we had our board of trustee meeting during that weekend. I couldn't
Oh,
attend as trustee, but they sent me a medallion, which
oh,
is very
that's so
inspiring.
cool.
And I believe it's wonderful, an amazing gift to receive.
That is so fabulous. So do you know
Yes.
how many languages we have of our medallions by any chance?
I don't know, many service bodies here in this part of the world used to sell the medallion in English because it's expensive to prepare not to translate the coin, but to make the coin, just to have the
Mhm.
coin ready in my language. The
Yep.
process making,
Yeah. So make the coin in your own language versus,
yes,
yeah.
you can do
Just,
that, but you can do
okay.
that.
That is
And
fabulous.
yes,
So it appears that there's two licenses. So license one, what is that and how long is it valid?
license one is for translation and validation. Okay. You translate the literature, whatever
Mhm.
literature is. Okay. Also the coin. And then there is a 6 month period. The translation period is about 18 months. It's 18 months. And the validation period is 6 months. And when the translation is prepared, is finished, all the old timers check if the wording is appropriate to the OA verbiage. For example, we know that chair could be a place where to sit and the president of a body. So they are going to review if they in the context or if the really the word chair is really translated properly in that language and has another meaning. I believe it's six
Mhm.
months, but this is just these are only shorter indications, guidelines, because on OA.org there will be a very long guidelines and a very intense and full of details.
Thank you. No, that's really helpful. So when you have translations and validation, you have the 18 months and then the 6 months. Does that mean it's 24 months altogether? Because you do translations first and then you have the validation, or does it happen at the same time?
No, when you send the agreement with the World Service Office, okay,
Mhm.
you send a request, you fill the form, okay, you send a request, you put your service post, the number of the book, the name of the book, you're going to translate it from English into whatever language, and then you sign with that agreement signed with the license manual, you have 18 months plus 6 months, 18 plus
Okay.
6. So the whole duration, 2 years, okay,
Okay.
18 plus 6 months, but it's only one license. Is it clear?
Yes, very much. Thank you. I appreciate that. So then you said there's a second license, and then how long is that valid and what does that look like?
The second license is it's only for distributing and selling, distributing literature.
Okay.
And it's valid for 20 years. 20 years! Can't you believe that? Ah,
Yeah, that's
20,
nice.
yes, 20 years. And so when they sign the agreement, the license to the service body send the digital copies of the translated literature to the World Service Office. They send back to the license to signed, and they can start printing or distributing literature as they want. Okay. In
Mhm.
that license too, there is an article for the royalties. I believe we are going to, you may ask royalties too.
Yes.
So it's to distribute literature for 20 years.
Okay. And For example, Emilia, you get the 12 and 12, and I know it's already in Italian, but you would get it translated, make sure the language is valid as far as the translation goes. Then you have a 20-year license to distribute and sell. Do you print it in Italy? Do you print it, or does the World Service Office in the United States print it and then mail it to you, or both?
Okay, everything is done at a local level. For example, the Italian National Service Board, the Spanish National Service Board, the Greek National Service Board, and the Iranian National Service Board. So all the service boards have their committees, the translation committees, they translate, and then they are going to look for those third parties to have the literature printed out.
So that saves on costs then too, because it's at the local level.
Yes, it's not same cost, but it's a local level, but they have to find a balance between which is the cost of translation, the cost
Okay.
of printing, and also the cost of distribution, because the distribution could be also to the local intergroups, and so they should consider every aspect of the translating the printing project.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Thank you. Then how do the service bodies distribute the literature?
They can distribute the literature as they want. They can have the print copy, just a paper book, and a hard copy. They have the book,
Mhm.
they have the book. They can have distribute literature also in ebooks. They can distribute literature also in PDF file. They can distribute literature in the way they prefer. It depends on the members, because if I am a service bodies and I have only members who use to have books,
The
I
physical book?
want the physical book. I won't spend energy in having any book, for example, because it will cost to implement any book using another selling platform. There will be other things to consider. But they can, if I am a virtual member, Italy, Spain, or in Greece, in Iran, in France, in Germany, I will ask my service body, please, can you give me a copy of PDF file? I know that this is a problem of honesty, and I want it passed to another fellow because this is my copy for my personal use. So me as a service body, I can distribute literature also using PDFs.
Okay, thank you. No, that is really helpful. So then what are royalties?
The
Mhm.
royalties is what is due to OA, because literature is property of and copyrighted of Overeaters Anonymous. Okay. As a service body, I sign an agreement with OA to translate literature, to distribute the literature, and when I'm going to distribute, I receive an income. Okay.
Mhm.
So there is an income, money. So the royalty must be set at the rate established in license 2 as a percentage of net income from sales.
Okay.
This small amount helps OA continue to serve the fellowship worldwide. And me as a service body, I should send the 10% every year at the World Service Office. So if my license to last 20 years, the year I'm going to send 10%, the second year I'm going to send the 10%.
Okay.
I can give back what I've been given.
And thank you for that. So it's really about 10% is saying thank you, but it's a legal agreement saying we
Yes,
have permission to publish this literature in our own language and in whatever format that makes sense for our fellowship at whatever
yes,
country. And it's just as any publishing house would do. This is no different than if I had someone else's book that I published, let's say a well-known author around the world,
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
gave me permission to print their book in a different language, I am paying for that right to print that book. Okay, no, that's great. So then how is this paid for? And then I know there's like a translations assistance fund. So how does that all work?
Okay, the translation assistance fund is a good thing for those service bodies who don't have enough funds to translate literature or print literature in their they don't have enough funds, so they can download the application form from OE.org. They should fill in each field and they say, look, I have to translate the 12 and 12. It's my first time because it's a new service body. It's a new service body. We don't have literature. We don't have enough funds. Okay. So I can send a request and the information publication translation will consider this application the following month. So if I'm going to send the application the 1st of January, the committee is going to consider this the 1st of February. They are consecutive months. And they can have funds for translation and also printing.
That's great. And I know that when OA fellows contribute money, we have a fund that you can ask all or some of your contribution to be put into that fund. And so then that
Yes,
helps
yes,
with
yes,
translations and validation. And then
yes.
don't we also, Amelia, it's been my understanding that we also ask for volunteers to help with translations and validation as well within the fellowship?
Yes. Okay, we can have volunteers at every level of service. So
Mhm.
each service body has a translation in here, I believe in region 9, in region 8, in virtual region, in region 10, where many languages are spoken. So there are translator at the local area, at local level, and translator at the region level. They give their support to translate, and it's so wonderful and it's amazing because this kind of service, because I learned so much while translating OA material from OA.org when I was sitting on the board of OA Italy. I translate a
Mhm.
lot of material and I learned a lot.
Ooh, what did you learn? Tell me. This is great. And thank you for your service in doing that.
What I learned everything about the licensing process. I learned everything about how it works. I could read, I don't remember the name of the, not Lifeline, the other magazine. How do you call I don't remember the name
Oh,
of
there
the,
was, yeah, I know there was, it came out. There's the World Service Bulletin, but then there was also, oh my gosh, I know what one you're talking about. It came out like every quarter or something like that.
every 4 years. Yes. Then I used to translate those and I used to translate guidelines. I used to translate everything. I learned a lot. If you're on the translation committee and you want to step up for another service,
Mhm.
you're already knowledgeable to do that kind of service.
Thank you. And I'll bet you really, you also had the opportunity to read all of the literature and learn
Yes,
for yourself as well. You have to read it and then it's okay, I'm going to translate it and,
yes, yes.
figure all that out. That's so cool that you had that. And thank you. And we always have the need for translators. We always have the need for translated literature as we continue to grow. Do you know, and if you don't know, we'll put them in the show notes, but of our OA base book, which is the OA 12 and 12, do you know how many languages that has been translated in? I think it's
So
20 something.
yes, maybe yes. I'm not good. I don't know this answer because but we have a wonderful file that you can find on OE.org is the literature that is translated, digital copies. So we know how many languages we have, maybe 20.
Mhm.
Yes.
And we're always looking for growing. We also hire people to translate, but then we also need people to validate because,
Yes,
like you said, we have to
yes,
make sure because the English language has so many. You can do it this way, but wait, you have to do it that way. Like you said, chair, like the word run in English has 22 different definitions. So
yes.
then you translate that into another language, you have to make sure you use that language's appropriate word.
Okay. We can hire professionals, but we should only always double check. We old timers, we should also double check is the if the language they used translated is the proper language for. There is another useful file. It's the OA glossary. It's about 17 in 19, I don't know how many pages, where you can find the word in English and then you have the word in your own language. So you can start preparing the glossary, and when you
Mhm.
start translating the literature, you can give that glossary to the volunteers and also to the professional. So they can double check if the word used is OE approved.
Awesome. What a neat tool to have and process to do.
Yes.
And that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because I wouldn't even know where to begin. I know this is not have to do with OA. It does, but the importance of languages. How many languages do you speak, Amelia? And what are they?
Okay, I speak Italian, my mother tongue. I speak English, I speak Spanish, and I speak a little bit of French.
So it is so incredibly helpful because of the size of your region and all the languages that you do, but just what a wonderful gift you are to OA and the fact that you learned on the ground level of translations that you gave of service. So anyone who's listening to this podcast, this is a wonderful way to learn more about OA, but to really give back. And then you will then be that wealth of knowledge to help people. So again, there's just so many different ways to enrich your recovery program with so many things. And Amelia, is there anything else you want to add? Is there anything that was missed?
Yes, I would like to let them know that this is just a summary, a brief summary of what licensing process is.
Perfect.
Maybe I didn't use the correct words, okay? But if they have any questions, they can browse our document library and they can find anything. And if they need support or help, they may reach out to me and I can support them, guide them with the translation licensing process.
Thank you. That's perfect. So again, that's oa.org. And then when you get to that page in the upper right-hand corner, there's a menu selection. It has 3 horizontal bars. You click on that and you scroll down and you go to resources. And when you open that up, you'll see document library. And then the world is yours. You can look. We have tons and tons of information, helpful guides, and everything else. And Amelia, thank you so much for joining us today. And your dedication to being a trusted servant in this recovery program is so vital to those of us, all of us really, who struggle with food issues. It's so wonderful that you are encouraging, you educate, and you engage people far and wide to use the OA solution to be free of this struggle when dealing with food addiction. Grazie.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Prego.